Is this, yeah.
Okay. It's all letting them back in. Yeah.
That's okay. We just keep it moving.
There we
Yes.
go. We're back. Thank you. Yeah, it was a problem on our
Yes.
end, but thank you for being patient and being resilient there.
Absolutely. And sometimes in your side hustle, you're going to have to be resilient. You know,
Yeah.
you cannot quit.
Nope.
It's going to get hard.
You fall down 5 times, you get up 6 times. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep talking, and we're going to do a little overview because we can let people back in, but we're going to just do a little overview. We're here with Wes, and we're talking about side hustles, and Wes has several side hustles in addition to his main hustle, which is his massage. He has a network marketing business. He does motivational speaking. He has a crypto hedge fund. And we were discussing the different pieces you need to have a successful side hustle, which is have a single point of failure, a system of duplication. And he was talking about active and passive parts for a business. So we were just getting it all in. So we got disconnected, but thank everyone for coming back on. And Wes, if you want to pick back up, we were talking about the fact that when you have a side business and you have your primary business, you have a family, you have a lot of other activities that you do. How is it that you maneuver through that and still put the time into your side business? And when you're doing that, are you trying to make that side business, how do you make it profitable with all the things that you're doing?
Well, it depends. It depends. You know, so there's different side hustles or home-based businesses. You know, I guess the most common would be network marketing like Herbalife or the Avon lady.
Yes.
You know, but basically what happened was big companies, they said, okay, we could spend hundreds of millions of dollars on advertising, or we could pay regular people like you and me to do it for us in the best form of advertising known to man, which is word of mouth, right? So essentially, how do you make it profitable? The easiest way is to find a product or a service that speaks to you, that you can get behind, that you believe in the mission or the product or whatever the case may be, and you buy into that company to be an affiliate marketer. And that's the best way, because it's a low cost to start, maybe a couple $100 to start. They give you the business plan, they give you everything you need, and your first sale or your first transaction, you're profitable. Boom. Okay. Right? They take care of all the overhead, and that's the easiest way to build up a side hustle, is to find a company that you can get behind and get involved with them.
Now, when you say that, a lot of people may want to have their own side hustle. So when people think of a side hustle, unlike you, and we get to this in a minute, your network marketing business side hustle, and we're going to talk about this in more detail after our next break. But that helped to pay for your home, and that was something that it may be your own, but it was a blueprint from someone else. So before you delve into that, let us take a break. Go to our Joetta and Health tip. And when we come back, we're going to talk to the fact of you having a side hustle, but it's from a blueprint from someone else. And then we're going to come back to the side hustle that you made your own, that you developed on your own. Okay. So here we go. This is our Joetta and Health tip with Tyrone.
Joetta and Health tip in May.
Yeah, in May.
Yes.
Episode 42. It's our 42nd. Well, you know what? We didn't do the Joetta and Health tips for the first couple of shows. We didn't pick up the Joetta and Health tips until probably the 10th or so episode. Mm-hmm. So although this is the 42nd episode, it's probably only the 30th health tip. And they've been getting better and better as you go along.
You sure?
I'm positive. So what do we have for us?
What is
AJ is going to put up the slides for us to see these health tips. And once he does that, we're going to take it away.
The health tip going to go with the video first, or it's going to go with me with the tip?
I think I want you to do the video. Yeah, let's do the video, right?
Yes.
Let's show the video. We're going to do the video.
Can you make me co-host?
Yes, I can. Hold on one second. I got you covered. No, that's not it.
And a lot of times when we do these shows, these health tips, I don't know where he gets them from. Sometimes he has friends that he's trying to help, but a lot of times I think he just thinks these things because he saw something or read something. But there are times when he's doing them for people that he knows. So this health tip is something that I think may be a little bit dear and near to himself.
Yes.
But once we watch this video, then we're going to go over the health tips.
Joining us now is Dr. Gayatri Devi, a professor of neurology at Hofstra University. Dr. Devi, good morning to you.
Good morning.
We know you haven't treated Bruce Willis, so but just generally, because a lot of folks are saying aphasia, not sure they've heard that. What is aphasia?
Aphasia is when you have trouble communicating with another person. You know, whether you're doing it through sign language, through writing, or through speaking, you're not able to communicate your thoughts or in some cases, be able to understand what someone else is telling you.
Is it really obvious? Because we all kind of can't remember things. Is it something that you listen to somebody and say, wow, there's something really wrong here?
Sometimes it's subtle. Sometimes you think, oh, is this person deaf? Can't they not hear you? And sometimes it's much more apparent where you're clear that the person's really having trouble speaking or they really aren't understanding what you're telling them.
Now, there's a few different ways that this can come on. You could have a stroke, you could have a head trauma, it could be dementia. But can it kind of come on slowly and then progress and get worse over time?
Yes, in some cases, depending on the cause, it can start slowly and progress, and sometimes it can happen abruptly. Sometimes you're talking to someone on the phone and suddenly you can't speak because you've had a stroke, and that's a case where you have to go to the emergency room right away.
Look, we've all been there where we can't remember a word. It happens to us on air, unfortunately, here and there. I can think of one yesterday, actually. But is that something to worry about? Oh my gosh, could this be coming on? When do I need to see a doctor like you?
Right. So trouble finding words and trouble finding names is common for all of us, and especially women as we go through menopause also, it's a common symptom. But it's when the problem persists, if it's interfering with our functioning, that's when you really need to seek help.
Again, we know you haven't treated Bruce Willis, but can there be improvement? Are there things you can do if you have this that you can get yourself back on track?
Yes, you know, you can do speech therapy, language therapy, those kinds of things can help depending on the cause. So sometimes if you have a stroke, you can make a complete recovery from a condition like aphasia.
All right. Well, Dr. Devi, it's good to get this information from you. Thank you very much.
Dr. Devi.
Thanks.
Wow, so yeah, that was really good, aphasia. So I don't know who has heard of it, but we're going to give you a little bit more information to help you navigate it and to identify it in yourself or others.
Now, before I get started, I didn't realize that this was a symptom that my dad had back when he was in his 50s. And I went through a situation where I had to go through my head, was that my dad calling me or was it just me thinking he was calling me? So I'm at my mom's house and I'm walking out the house, and before I walk out the door, I'm thinking that my dad said Tyrone. I stopped, turned around, went upstairs, opened his door, and he was on the bed having a stroke and couldn't move and couldn't talk. So when I'm saying in my mind, did he give his last breath to call me to go upstairs to get him? Or was it something that in my mind, I said, let me just go check on my dad. So I picked him up, took him to the hospital, and, you know, they saved his life. So when I came up with this aphasia, I'm thinking I was in my 20s when it happened. And here I'm at 57 years old, never knew that was the situation he was going through.
He had a stroke.
He had a stroke,
But
but
then,
in my mind, I'm thinking he called me, and I'm saying, how did he call me with his door closed on the second floor that loud? And I never thought about it until somebody said, I think God was telling you your dad needed you.
because he couldn't speak, is what you're
Because he
saying.
could not. And when I walked in the room and I
Okay.
said, Dad, what's wrong with you? And he just looked at me.
Okay.
And I'm saying, how did he get that strength out of his,
Well, that happens sometimes.
and how did he know it was me?
I don't know
It's 6 kids and my mother.
Yeah.
And I'm the one walking through the house downstairs looking for my mother. She's at work.
He's probably praying it was you because you could help
So
him.
all I know is I thought or I felt that I heard Tyrone.
Well,
Okay.
you did. Yeah, you went up there and helped them.
So we're going with this aphasia, and Joetta put it down in a nice, simpler form. A-P-H-A-Y, aphasia. Okay, aphasia is a disorder that results from damage to portions of the brain that are responsible for our language. For most people, these are on the left side. I always remember that. A lot of people have stroke, and it's always on the left side for some reason. Okay, so it's a head trauma or something that goes on that stops you from talking. Who can get aphasia? Most people who have aphasia are middle-aged or older, but anyone can acquire it, including young children.
Okay.
About 1 million people in the United States currently have aphasia, or a million. Nearly 180,000 Americans acquire it each year, according to the National Aphasia Association. So there's an association for aphasia right now. And I'm not going to read everything, but you can see what causes it. And I'm going to go back to showing you the slide of different parts of the brain. And like I said, the left side is what causes this. Wernicke is the part of the brain, and then you got Broca. So those two different parts of your brain interrupts your speech patterns. So there's different types. I just told you the two different types of aphasia. Okay, so we're going to go down to how is it diagnosed? Aphasia is usually first recognized by the physician who treats the person for a brain injury. Okay, most people will undergo a magnetic MRI, and then from that point, they'll let you know if you have it or not, what's going on with you. So if the physician suspects aphasia, the patient is usually referred to a speech language pathologist. They're going to help you to try to come back to, trying to move your mouth and put words together. And this was something that was interested with me when I told Joetta that you're going to have difficult reading, difficult speaking, understanding, writing. It interrupts your whole thought pattern. You can't write, you can't speak, you can't anything. So she's going to give you what the bottom line is.
Well, the bottom line is simple. It is important to check for aphasia, especially after a stroke. Remember that aphasia is a loss of language, not of intellect. Yeah. So when you have someone that you run into that has it, the bottom line is that there's nothing wrong with them intellectually. Yes. It's just a language barrier. And so help them to get help and be patient with them as they recover from that speech loss. So thank you for sharing your Joetta and Health tips, and I hope that again helped individuals. We've been asking people to ask questions and put them in the chat and to raise your hands. So I don't know if we have any questions at this time, but if you do have some questions, put your hand up, or either you can put the question in the chat and we will try to get to it. But in the meantime, we're going to come back to Wes.
Yes.
And Wes, we want you to answer some more of our questions. So if you come back on this screen, we'll have to continue talking about the part of the side hustle we were talking about. When you have this and we want to make it a priority, or do you keep it as a side hustle? And when we say a side hustle, you use two words that I like. You call it a side profit center. So that's what you call it, a profit center. So when you're doing that, sometimes the goal is to make money, sometimes that it isn't. But ultimately, when you're doing this, when you're doing this side hustle, you need to put something out that's a really great product. Yeah. And if it's a side hustle or not, it needs to be an extension of you. So I often say, if you're going to do something, don't do it half.
Yes.
Put all of your energy, all of your time into it, so that it is a reflection of you. And what my father would always say, anything associated with you, Joetta, has to be first class. So when I do my little side hustles or my profit center programs that I do, or initiatives that I have, I'm always trying to do the very best. But it's hard sometimes because you need help.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's hard to find those people consistently to help you. It's really hard to do that. So I think we look.
No, yeah, she's here.
No, it is difficult to find people to help you. You know, when I wake up in the morning, one of the things I do is my self-confidence contract that I've made to myself. And one of the things that I say to myself is that I will attract people to serve me and to help me, because I will believe and serve them. Right. So I truly believe that you know, like you said, you do get out what you put in. You know, so if you put half your energy into it, you know, you're going to get half the rewards, right? That's it's plain and simple like that. You know, one of the things that I was thinking about in terms of side hustles is, you know, I think it's important. When we broke off, AJ asked a question from the chat, and the question was, you know, how do you know if it's the right side hustle for you or right business for you? And, you know, listen, if it's something that I don't have to pay you a dime to do what you do, it's the right thing for you, right? You know, I think passion supersedes profits, right? So if it's something that you're passionate about, it will pay off, right?
Yes.
And get creative. I mean, most of us have about $10,000 of stuff in our house right now that we could sell on eBay. That's just sitting there collecting dust. You know, I tell my wife all the time, listen, let's sell some of this stuff.
And that becomes, and you know, and that's something that we don't want to do, but that's a very easy way to make additional money, and by using someone else's platform. It's already out there. You don't have to do anything. Just sign into the different platforms. Now, you did something that was really, really cool. You were able to start a networking marketing business as your side hustle. And from that, you were able to purchase a home. So could you walk through about 3 points on how to do that? Not your business, not your side hustle business, but how you utilize that to purchase a home.
Yeah, absolutely. So I started my network marketing business in 2017. And one of the things that I love about one of your P's is perturbed. So the guy that got me involved in this business, he looked at my situation from the outside, and he said, okay, this guy, you know, he ain't going to do nothing. He's not going to be successful with this. Well, that's about the last thing you want to say to Wesley Morris. And I will succeed just out of spite.
Yes.
Just because you told me not to, right? And, you know, so I no network marketing experience whatsoever, but a strong, you know, chip on my shoulder. And, you know, if I had 10 hours to chop down a tree, I would spend 8 of those hours sharpening my axe. And that's exactly what I did. I started researching network marketers. I found out who was the successful, you know, success leaves clues, right? So I invested time researching, and I found out the steps, the skills needed in order to be successful. I had to find people, I had to find prospects, I had to set the appointments, I had to show the plan, I had to follow up, and I developed all these skills. And, you know, I was simultaneously growing my family's massage therapy business. So I would live off of my tips. And then any money that I gained from the network marketing business went into an investment account, and I didn't touch it for 3.5 years. And I lived off my tips. And when I finally looked down, it was like, wow, you know, I can put 6 figures down on a house. And I just put my head down, and I didn't look at the product. Anything that came from that business went right into an investment account. And I turned my home-based business and bought a home. That's what you know what I mean? Yes. And it's a beautiful home. Yeah.
And when you, like I said, you were talking about your what you did with your network marketing business, and you're doing the same thing with your crypto hedge fund. This is, in addition, you still have the network marketing business. You're still speaking. You're getting ready to make a videotape with your mom about massage, and then you have the crypto hedge fund. So, is it ever too much, or do you take something off the plate, or you just keep them all going at the same time?
You know, Tom Brady is one of the best quarterbacks known to man. He's one of the most successful quarterbacks of all time. He's won 7 Super Bowl championships. You know what he did when he woke up? the next day after he won his 7th one, he wanted to win an 8th one.
Right.
Because we are spiritual beings, and spirit is always seeking fuller expression of itself. And when I know that I can help more people, that I can do more, be more, and become more, yeah, no, I don't think it's ever. We have a beautiful thing called life, and I think one of the saddest things is not living up to your fullest potential.
Right. I was just talking about that the other day to Tyrone, and I may have mentioned it to you, but I definitely was speaking to Tyrone about, even though, you know, things are going well and whatever's happening, sometimes you still feel as that you're falling short, that you're not quite doing it, whatever that it is. And if it's a side hustle, if it's helping people, if it's developing yourself, whatever that it is. But the bottom line is, like you said, you only have this one life, and you got to put something in it in order to get something out of it. And don't be afraid to fail. You know, don't be afraid to fail. A lot of great things have happened. A lot of great businesses have come to fruition because people failed.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Edison failed 999 times before he succeeded.
They said that. Yes.
You know.
And a lot of times when I'm talking to the younger crowd out there now, technology is the way to go. But guess what? Old-fashioned hard work is the way to go too.
Yes.
A lot of times people can push buttons and everything is electronic, but things break down. So a lot of times I should tell my kids, I keep a pad with me all the time. So when I do rest, when I'm writing down workouts, when I'm writing down a recipe. I remember when I first started to do smoothies, before people was talking about smoothies, I used to always say, what type of smoothie is going to give me the most energy for what I want to do? So I would always go online, and I look and I say, okay, blueberries, anything with berries, and a little bit of banana, then a little bit of peanut, then a little bit of honey. Next thing you know, the smoothie is too rich for me. I can't fall asleep. So I have to back up and drop some things down that wouldn't work for me or keep me up at night.
Yes.
So a lot of times I should tell Joetta, I've never, ever in my life done something extraordinary without writing it down.
Right.
I remember one day I said, I'm coming back next year and I'm going to win states. I'm going to do this. I'm going to run this town. And when I ran it, the first thing they said to me in the paper, Tyrone's a sleeper. You know, he's coming. And I'm saying, I always was there. Yes. I was just injured.
Yes.
So now you're writing about me in the paper. What he wins the 800 meter. Oh, he's one of the up and coming sleepers. No, I wrote it down already. I was going to win. So, but for y'all, it's like, oh man, where he come from?
Yeah. And so when we talk about people sleeping, you can't sleep on your dreams, right? You can't sleep on your dreams. And so what do you tell someone that is just confused? They want to start something, but they don't know the first thing. They have a passion, but just because you have a passion doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to turn into your side hustle. Now, if you want to make it a profit center, that's one thing. If you wanted to just do something because you like doing it, that's one thing. So my question twofold: does your side hustle have to produce income? And is a side hustle something that you just do when you don't make any money? Because then if you're doing that, that's called what do you call it? It's volunteer, but it's called what do you call it? A hobby.
Yeah, a hobby, right?
Between that, if there is one.
You know, most businesses are not profitable until year 3. That's just a known fact, right? So, just because you may not, I think that, once you start something, you should take 3 years. You may take a small percentage of whatever money you make, but for the first 3 years, it should be invested back into your hustle, your business, right? So there's nothing, I don't think that there's anything wrong with, with it not being profitable right away. And also the other thing that I want people to grasp and understand is I just rode my bicycle 184 miles over 4 days. I just got back last week, right? So I rode my bicycle 184 miles from Cumberland, Maryland to Washington, D.C. and in the beginning, I had 2 guys with me, and they took off, and they were going fast, and I was trying to keep up, and I wasn't enjoying myself. And then it occurred to me, boom, we're so quick and focused on the destination that we don't even enjoy the journey.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Enjoy the journey, right? It's not listen, you could have a $1 million side hustle, right? But if you're, if your mental state is not positive and grateful, you're missing the journey, baby. You know what I mean? And listen, I became a better person. I as a result of going through what I had to go through in order to build those businesses. You could take all my side hustles away from me, but you can never take away the man that I've become as a result of pursuing my goals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that was good. I like that. We always say on the show, it doesn't matter what road you take, but what you become along the journey. So along the journey to your side hustle or to your as you say, 5 to 9, and you're on that journey, on that road, what do you become? And I think that with me, with the different side hustles I've had, I've turned them into profit centers, and I don't look at them as hobbies. I don't look at my side hustle, the things that I do off to the side have been ways for me to stay relevant. And that is why I started my side hustles. It wasn't a way to particularly get the money. The money will come if you had good products and good work ethic and you treated people correctly. So I wanted to remain relevant. So I had to do some different things, had to introduce some different products to the Joetta brand. So that's what I've done with my side hustle. And my profit center was to remain relevant by introducing, branching out within the same speaking. Now there's a book, now there's perfume, now there's a fitness, but it's all under the umbrella. Joetta.
And it's successful. I always tell Joetta, it's the thing that we want to do in life now. I want to do. I don't want to tell you about, I have a fitness app, I have a shake, I have a whatever. I don't want to tell you about it. I want you to look at me or watch me going, and then you going, oh wow, it's working. Whatever it is. So if I say the fitness app is going to get you more energy, get you upright more, get you more balance, because we get people that call us and let us know that they want to know how to get more balance in my life. How do I get more focus? And I tell them, sometimes you have to sit back and you have to strip everything, go straight to whatever. And we start from the bottom ground floor and start building you back up. We always
Absolutely. I completely agree. There's one more thing that I have to inform people about in terms of side hustles. If you have a job or you're working for somebody, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I think that everyone should have an LLC simply for the tax benefits. So when you have a side hustle, now portions of your rent or your mortgage, those are tax deductible. That trip that you went on, that could be tax deductible. Your computer, your internet, your electricity, all these things are now tax deductible so that you are paying less in taxes as a result of having an LLC or a sole proprietorship.
Wow, that was some good information. Thank you very much, Wes. We have Arlene Lester on the show, and I would be remiss if I didn't have her in on this conversation. Arlene Lester is with State Farm, and she was the reason we were able to put together this small business series, these 4 weeks that we did. So Arlene, I don't know if you're going to come on, but we would love to have you come on to kind of wind down with the show and to let us hear your voice or to see your face. So if you're there, Arlene, we'd love to hear you and see you. And thank you again for all that you've done, not only for the Be Extraordinary podcast, but for all of the agents that you support in your Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia area.
Well, good evening, Joetta. Yes, I am here.
How
Can
are
you hear me okay?
Yes.
Hi, Tyrone.
Hello.
Good to be here. Wes, you have given us some extraordinary information tonight. And thank you for being a part of this. Normally, we would have one of our agents on the call to kind of talk about some things. And what I wanted to highlight as we close out this session is the fact that the reason I sponsored this month is because May is Small Business Awareness Month. And we wanted to raise the bar and let people know that there are lots of small businesses out there, but we also wanted to give them tools to help them raise the bar on their own business. And you certainly have done that, Joetta, with these different topics, with the guests that we've had on this week and more. And Wes, you really kind of summed it up for us and closed it out nicely. What I would like to add, if I may, is that, State Farm is insurance. And we want people to understand that you can't just be running around doing all your businesses without having the proper insurance protected. Because when you say I'm a business, people are going to come for you if you are truly out there doing work in the business format. So if you don't have insurance for your small business or your side hustle, because if you're doing certain levels, you're considered a business, you might want to look at that part a little bit and just make sure that you're covered. So if you have a homeowner's policy, for instance, it may provide you some coverages up to certain levels and numbers, and I won't go into numbers because it's an individual basis, but you need to talk to an insurance professional who can guide you in those ways. And if your business side hustle is reaching levels that may be above what your homeowner's policy might cover, then you want to be sure to look into getting that small policy, just even if it's a small one, just to protect your personal assets from whatever might come up with you doing business. And so I hope people will take that into account. And Joetta, with COVID the last 2 years, I think we have seen a burst of more businesses coming out than ever before.
Yes.
It's a good thing for people, but they need to make sure that they're doing everything that they can to protect themselves. So I think it's great that we raise the level of awareness this month on what the small businesses need to do to be successful. And I think that if they take a moment just to stop what they're doing and check on what they have lined up to protect themselves, that's going to help them down the road be more successful and keep that business growing and make it bigger and bigger.
And then also make sure I have been really excited about State Farm and the agents that you had on the show are very intelligent, informative. And I would tend to think that if anyone is listening, has a business or needs some insurance, do at least make a phone call to the State Farm agent to see if it's comparable, if it's better than, and you explore your options.
Yes.
And I think that you'll find out that you made the right decision by making that first phone call. So I thank you for that information, your support. And if anyone has missed any of the prior shows, they are all on YouTube. So just type in Joetta Fitness, go to our YouTube channel, or you can go to Spotify and Apple, put in the Be Extraordinary podcast, and they all come up on that. So that's how you can find that out. If you want to be a sponsor on the show or be a guest on the show, you can write us at joettimefitness@gmail.com. And that'd be really, really great. And Wes, Arlene, you said some really great things. Wes, he summed it up. You talked about active and passive. You talked about having a profit center. You talked about having a passion to profit. Success leaves clues. You talked about having a single person or a single point that's a recipe for failure. And most importantly, you talked about having multiple streams of income and putting money away from your side hustle to develop that side hustle, but also to buy a home or to buy other things that you may need in life. Tyrone, you want to bring it on in for us?
Well, like I always say, State Farm, what's the quote?
like a good
You're supposed to sing it, Tyrone, not say it.
I don't know.
Like a good neighbor.
State Farm is there.
That's the jingle.
So like I said, I'm so proud to be a State Farm customer and for years and years and years.
Yes, you have said
And
that.
thank you,
every show.
Arlene. So my cars love State Farm.
Yes,
and I love you for it. Thank you, Tyrone.
Yes. And Wes, I thank you for your information. Please, before we go, Wes, give us your website real fast, and so people can find you for speaking, coaching, cryptocurrency, massage information. Hit us up with your website, Wes.
Sure. It's just my name, which is Westley with a T, WESTLEYMORRIS.com, which is WesleyMorris.com.
Right. Thank you very much for being on the show. Small business hustles, but one thing is for sure, it still needs your
Yes.
energy. It is not part-time, it's full-time as
Yes.
well. Well, we'll see you again sometime in June. And as we said earlier, it doesn't matter what road you take, but what you become along the journey. Thank you
But
for
what do
allowing
we
us
have coming up?
to take us along the journey. And I don't know what we have coming up. We have a track camp coming up.
Yes.
The 21st annual
Thank
track and
you.
field camp coming up. Again, you may not be in the Lehigh Valley area, but you may know someone that lives there. Please tell them about the track and field camp. We have been doing this for 21 years, and we look forward to seeing all of you kids and parents.
Yes, it's going to be a fun time.
And we will be there. I'm there every single day. Every single
I might do
day.
every day this year.
Good. Every day. That'd be great. Every
Might.
day, Mike. Look, I know one thing we might do. We might not be able to be on the show any longer, but we will be back in June. Thank you, Arlene. State Farm. Thank you. And like a good neighbor, State Farm is always there. StateFarm.com. Thank you. Be extraordinary.
Be extraordinary. Thank you.
Take care.
Okay.